hard. Let's talk about it because we, as mentioned, are not finished with that risk for severe weather or that risk for flooding. We've got this frontal boundary. It is going to help to trigger some more storms. It's interacting with hot, humid air out in front of that front. And when we know when that happens, it kind of acts like a squeegee and helps to get some of that rain really going. We've got flood watches up from Springfield through Rolla, there through southern Missouri. We're stretching that across southern Illinois, all the way up into places like Columbus and Cincinnati, Ohio, Louisville. You're included in those flood alerts as well. The ground is pretty soggy, and we're adding more rain onto that, heavy rain at times because the atmosphere has quite a bit of moisture to work with. Our risk for severe storms today, you can see a couple different areas that we're going to watch across the Central Plains, stretching that over across the mid-Mississippi Valley into the Ohio River Valley as well. Those storms could have some gusty winds, some hail with them, and certainly some heavy rain is the concern. We're getting some of those storms bubbling up heading through the early afternoon. Some of those could have some large hail with them as well. These two different complexes kind of blasting to the east as we head into your 6 o'clock hour. So you're getting off of work. You could be dealing with some of these storms, say around Indianapolis, maybe plan for that accordingly. But you'll also notice we've got these storms that are beginning to show up on the map there across portions of the plains. Heading into the evening, it's continuing. This isn't one of those systems that's kind of losing its steam. It's continuing. We're seeing that chance for stronger storms into the evening. Springfield, you guys are getting in on that, stretching down into places like Branson as well. So I know a popular area for vacation this time of year is to be around Branson. Maybe you're spending some time there. You want to keep an eye on the forecast. Now, waking up early Wednesday morning, we're seeing that across portions of Oklahoma over into Arkansas, and some of those storms are still going to be putting down some heavy rain. Tomorrow, we've got that risk, very isolated risk for some severe storms, but nonetheless, some of them could get a little bit on the feisty side. That is going to be there along that front range. We're also keeping our eye on that possibility for some flash flooding for a wider area as well. Huge swath of real estate, Dr. Postel, that is going to have rounds and rounds of rain. We already saw some of those storms in the Northeast yesterday, and we're not done with that yet. The coastal areas of North Carolina up into coastal Virginia, where you see the orange here, that's 5 to 8 inches of rain, but a lot of us still need it. We're dealing with drought conditions, severe, moderate, and you can see this extreme drought that's begun to show up there across portions of the Carolinas, and we are dousing that area with rain. Mother Nature is like, all right, I see you. Let's get that grass back to a little green, right? But with that, especially where we have the extreme drought, the ground is dry. That makes it hard for that water to actually soak in really efficiently. So that is going to lead us to a better chance of some flash flooding. And then we're going to stretch that all the way back through the lower Mississippi River Valley for your Thursday, again into Friday and early Saturday from the Carolinas back into Texas with that risk for some flash flooding, because we're just going to have rounds and rounds of rain. It's like, you know, you need the rain, you just don't want too much of it, but rarely do we ever just get that perfect balance. Each afternoon, even into the overnight hours with that stalled frontal boundary, that is our focal point. It traps that moisture across the southeast, and that is going to be hanging around into the weekend. This is one of those weekends where maybe you catch up on your summer cleaning, because a lot of us are going to be dealing with rain round after round. Alex, progressing eastward, but it's still going to be a little wet out there. You might want to give yourself a little bit of extra time as you're heading out for work this morning. The roads are going to be a little wet in some places, and there will still be some rain hanging around. You can see a few different severe thunderstorm warnings that we have going on around Kansas City, and then just a little bit farther east there north of that I-70 corridor. Taking a closer look at this severe thunderstorm warning, you'll notice most of the heaviest rain is for the northern portions of Kansas City. Overland Park, you were included in this warning too. That's until 9 a.m. You see that threat considerable tag on this, and that is telling us that we've got winds up around 70 miles an hour. We've seen this realized a little bit farther west as these storms were moving through, so they have been packing that punch. We've seen some reports coming out from that, and then timing this out for you, that main leading edge of some of those gustier winds going to continue progressing east of Kansas City. Raytown around 846, Lee's Summit around 857. This isn't like a huge, massive line of storms. It's going to take hours to move through. So if it's starting to approach you, if you see it off to the west, just let it move through and then head out. You don't want to be dealing with those gusty winds as you're kicking off your Tuesday morning. We've had winds up to around 70 miles an hour, a report there in Lawrence. So we've already seen some of these damaging wind gusts, realize some downed wires near Hollingsworth Road. So that is going to be one of those things that you don't want to run into as you're heading out for work either. Heavy rain also associated with this. When you have 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts possible and heavy rain, those windshield wipers aren't doing anything. That umbrella is being nothing but a nuisance. So better to just not have to deal with this as you're heading out. Give it just a little bit more time, and then we'll see this move through. Still some light rain hanging around though. And guys, you know what's happening. We got to keep our eye on that risk for storms again later on. Dr. Postel, it's not just this that we're watching. It's also